I'm giving this live recording, I guess I should say, a shot. I don't think I've done this before. Maybe I have. I get a little confused by some of the features, but really what I want to talk about is not the features of YouTube, but something I'm seeing, a trend I'm noticing on uh, X right now. I think I've seen it in other places online as well, where it seems like culturally we're at a shift, and even people that are just secular people, are getting really fed up with woke content, um, woke messaging and entertainment. They're tired of girl bosses. They're tired of uh, uh, sexual perversions being promoted. They're tired of the need to have diversity in casts, even when it doesn't make any sense at all. And so there's some natural pushback, and that's good. I think it's a good thing. However, I think as Christians, we've got to really realize something, and that is that doesn't mean these people are completely our allies. And it's not that I'm against. I'm not anti woke. I think it makes sense to push back, but as believers in Christ, the the salvation of good storytelling is not in it being based, not in it uh, returning to 30 years ago. You think about storytelling from even like think about original James Bond stories. Is that now that's anti woke? Is that what we want? I mean, like, okay, yeah, we just don't want weird sexual perversions and homosexuality included. But it's okay if we have a main character that sleeps around every show. Okay, well, that's anti woke. Is that what you want? I think Isaac Asimov, if I'm not remembering wrongly, he had such a. I mean, it just seemed like so many times when you read his stories, at least the ones I've read, the female characters kind of get turned into a little bit of like pinup girls, and just the way that they're written. They're kind of stupid, they're pretty, and they fall for the man, and that's kind of it. Um, Old Star Trek very famously did this in a lot of ways, treated women like like sex objects. But that's not what we as Christians should want in our arts. And to simply say, well, if we go back to the 1950s or if we go back to the 1980s, that would be good. That's what we want. That's setting our sights way too low as Christians and artists. And so I really think we need to push forward and say, okay, the answer to woke ideologies in the arts is not to go backwards, but rather to have more of a reformed concept for what needs to happen in the arts. And this may sound silly, but the arts need Jesus. That's what they need. They need a Christian concept for what a woman is, not an anti woke concept, not a woke concept. Neither of those is sufficient to describe what a woman is. Um, and I picked that just as an example, but there are other things too. Sexuality is the same way. Do we want a 1980s sensibility, 1960s sensibility for sexuality, and then it's all good? No. And, like, for instance, comics. There's a lot of push right now in comics because the wokeness is just really blatant. And I'm not a big comic book reader, but some of the examples I've seen, it's pretty clear how they're they're making comics into just a propaganda piece to push woke ideologies and um, sort of a cultural Marxism. So I get it, don't like it, but if you go back, yeah, like 50 years ago in comics, the women are still all sex objects. Yeah, okay, they've got, their characters and they're fleshed out, but they don't wear clothes. I mean, so am I as a Christian supposed to get on the bandwagon with a bunch of people that are anti-woke and say, "Yeah, let's take comics back to the glory days when they all wore their underwear." That's not a victory. Um, so that's some of my thoughts, and I'd be intrigued if you want to write something in the comments. I'm doing this live. I can't even see if anybody's watching it live. No, it doesn't look like anybody's watching it live. But if you watch this and you have some thoughts, I'd like you to put them in the comments. As a Christian, how do we reform storytelling? And Is there a proper way to utilize some of the momentum of the anti woke movement to get to the end where Christ is glorified in our storytelling, where our concepts of what a man is, what a woman is, what sexuality is, all of these things can be conformed to a Christian view. And for those of you that are not Christians that may be watching this, the reason I think a Christian worldview is important in storytelling is because it is the base reality. And what I probably that's a whole nother video though, what a base reality is. But the idea being that the most basic primordial building blocks of reality are made by God. They are Christian, and so in order to have everything be as it should be, we should conform to what God has revealed to us. All right, I'm going to end this now. Thanks for watching.